bisexual, like she's like, Brooke, like you have to experience it.
Me? Was she like, did she say you have to experience me kind of thing?
That's what I felt.
Yeah, nice.
Like, Alex, like I see you. She wouldn't even care. Like she literally, like, I call her, like she's like, I call her Mama Ho because she's the most sex positive person I've ever met, and like the confidence that comes out of her, like, because she's been with like guys, girls, and like she's had both relationships like respectively, and she just has such a strong sense of self, and I was just like,
good
you're
for
like
her. Yeah,
you're like the mother hen, like
yeah, queen bee, sure, good for her. Okay, so obviously you're just sort of, you know that you're heterosexual and that's what you're sticking with. Mm-hmm. You love guys, love dick kind of thing.
It was, my dad asked me, like, because I've never been in relationships, like my parents like went through a phase where they were like really concerned, like they were like, why isn't my daughter had a boyfriend? And like
they wanted you to have a boyfriend, really?
Yeah, and like I came home and my dad's like, oh, like how's school? And I'm like, that's good, hung out with this person, did that, like blah blah blah. And I was like, so are you into girls? And I was like, sorry, what?
Your dad said that to you?
Yeah, and then I was just like, no. And then he's like, I don't know, like you've just never had a boyfriend. And then like I can't like be like, Dad, like I just sucked dick last week. Like, but
yeah, that would have been a little bit too far, I guess, eh?
Yeah, but I'm straight.
Yeah. So I love your energy, by the way. This is fun. I love it when people can be open, and I'm really encouraging sex positive mindset, sex positive everything. Have you ever had a negative sexual experience?
The worst one that I had was probably, it was like another like race issue, because like this guy was in my class and like he made it like very known like that he was like attracted to me, and I was like, oh, like that's nice, like blah blah blah. But he was like really aggressive, so like I like went to the bathroom like during class, and then he came, he like cornered me and he was like, oh, like I want to kiss you so badly, and then he like kissed me, and I was like,
in the washroom?
Outside the bathroom.
Outside the bathroom.
Yeah,
okay.
And I was just like, oh my god, like chill out, like blah blah blah.
This is in the middle of like school? Mm-hmm. Really?
Talbot College, people.
Really? People are getting aggressive in Talbot College, huh?
Yeah, and it was like so weird, and I was just like, I don't know, like maybe this is hot. Like I didn't really know how I felt about it. Like I was like really confused. It was in my philosophy of evil class too.
So you're already thinking.
Yeah, and then like finally like I was going home for the break. Like he lives in London, and like he was just like, hey, like what are you doing? Like do you want to hang out? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then he came over, and then like we like banged, but like he was just like, oh, like your black skin, like, oh, like your black tits, like, oh, and I was like,
he just kept commenting on your skin?
Mm-hmm. And then he was like, this is better than ebony porn. And
really? That's what he said. How did that make you feel?
I was like in shock. Like it was like looking back, it was like very funny.
Yeah.
And it was like really quick. Like it was literally 5 minutes. Like so like I didn't have like too much time to be like in like but it was like crazy. Like I was just like, wait, what? Like I've never been like fetishized like that. Like
no kidding.
It was like weird. Like it wasn't like negative, it was just like weird.
Right.
And like now I like see him in passing, and like he's like so awkward, and like sometimes like he'll like be like, can I FaceTime you? Like I want a cam, and I'm like, no.
Was it just the one time? You didn't want to give him, did he want to have a second like round two, and you were just like, you're done with it?
Yeah, like I was just like sketched by him. Like I was like, you're so weird. I was just like, I don't know if this is a compliment that you're like really into black girls, or like that you just like see it as like cool kink. Like I don't even know.
Huh.
It was like the weirdest experience of my life. And it's funny because the show Chewing Gum, I don't know if you ever heard of it, it's on Netflix.
I'll have to watch it.
Season 2, episode 2. She's like seeing this guy, and like she's like not like hot, like that's like the whole big joke of the show, and like he's like, you're so beautiful, like I love you, like da da da. And like she goes back to his place, and then he's like, oh, like put on like the outfit that I bought for you, like, you know, like say that thing that I like. And she's literally in full African like costume, like with all the paint and like everything, and like she's like doing like chants, and like he's like jerking off to it, and I was like, oh my god, like, and I like literally messaged my friends like,
this is what,
and I was like dude, like it was so funny, like I was dying, but I was so uncomfortable because I was just like, man.
Oh man. But in terms of, I mean, everything that you've experienced, you haven't experienced any like drugs in your drink or anything?
No, I'm very, very fortunate, and like it's been positive thus far. Like I make it a point, like I probably only had sex on maybe 2 occasions where I was like intoxicated, like drunk, like, and one of them was with the guy who I was hooking up with like for a long time. Sure. So like we were like, I like trust him solely, and then like one was like Halloween, so like you already know that was like
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a bad decision.
Halloween?
Yeah. I was a schoolgirl, so you know that it was a hot mess.
Yeah, sure. I bet it was fun for the guy though.
He was so weird too.
Was he?
Sometimes I just attract like weirdos. He was like, oh, like I want to do like butt stuff, and I was just like, oh, like I've never done anal. And like he was like, no, like I want you to do butt stuff to me.
Really?
Yeah, like he wanted me to put my finger in his asshole, and then I was drunk, so I did.
Yeah, sure. So obviously you're a pretty open-minded girl then.
Yeah, I still haven't done anal.
You still haven't done anal?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. I mean, is it something that you want to do in the future?
I was thinking about doing it with the guy who I was seeing, but like I feel like it takes a while before you get used to it.
Right.
And like he was like graduating. I was just like, I don't want to like have to go through all the trouble, and then you're gonna leave, and then I have to find someone to like pick up where you left off in the journey. Like, it just seemed like too much work.
That's awesome. So you obviously, and I agree with you there. I think it takes some practice to before work it up and kind of to make you comfortable, really.
And my best friend had like an awful anal story, like an
really.
awful one.
Do you want to share it?
Yeah, it's so funny.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I have one name dropper because like she's the craziest person I know.
Okay.
And basically like she was like hooking up with this guy, and like he was like, oh, like let's do anal. Like she was like drunk, and she was just like, yeah, sure. And like he like started, and then like he like pulled out like so quickly, and like he had like a like white bed, like it was like a pristine white bed.
Oh, I know.
And she like shit all over it, like all over it. And then like he was like, oh man, like let's shower. And then she was like, okay. And then like she was like, it was like so gross. She was like, it was like there was just like shit on like his dick, and then like he like wanted me to give him head, and she said it was okay because like there was like running water, and like she was like, I couldn't do it. And then like he like went back in the room,
yeah,
and then like she like barked. It was just like the worst story I've ever heard in my life.
Oh my god!
And she was telling me, I was like, I can't believe this happened. And she was just like, yeah, so like now I'm just gonna do anal like every other month.
That's awesome. Well, that's a great story. So did they, like, what happened with the sheets? Did he just toss them out?
Honestly, like, he was a dick, so, like, I'm happy that she did it.
Yeah.
He's a frat boy.
So you're in a sorority. So what do you just kind of rolled your eyes about frat boys. So are frat boys bad news? Do sorority girls not like frat boys? I thought they were kind of like brother and sister, or incestuous kind of brother and sister. But how does that work around here? Tell me about the sorority and the frat life. What sorority are you in, by the way?
I'm in Pi Phi.
Pi Phi.
Or Pi Beta Phi. That's our
Pi Beta Phi?
Mm-hmm.
I saw the Pi Phi hashtagged it. I was like, I'm going to hashtag her sorority. Yeah. Perfect. So Pi Phi, and then and what's your outlook on sororities and frats? I
like my sorority. Like, I wouldn't say that it like changed my life, if I'm being like completely honest. But
Is it supposed to?
Like, apparently, like,
really?
You don't pay $1,000 to like just like be like cruising through.
Right, sure.
But I have been.
Yeah.
But like I've really enjoyed my experience. Like there's like times where I'm just like, oh, like these are my sisters, and like there are times where I'm just like, I'm just here.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm just hanging out with you guys. But yeah, there's been a really good experience with them. Like we've had like girl drama, but like when you have a bunch of girls like who have to like hang out with each other all the time, like there's bound to be drama.
Yeah.
But it's good. Frat boys, on the other hand, like,
yeah, tell me about them. Tell me
they're
about
like
frat boys.
An iffy one with me, because like you can't label everyone like based off of their thing, like,
right?
You know what I mean? Like,
of
you can't
course.
say all frat boys are awful, but like there's certain frats who like are like their trademark is that they're like the douchey frat guy, the Sigma guy.
I think someone brought that frat up on one of the other podcasts too. Mm-hmm. So that's the bad one. That's the douchebag one.
Yeah, but like that's the one where like everyone wants to fuck. Like like I don't like every girl wants to like hook up with the sig. Like it's
really, really,
yeah.
Interesting. Well, they'd probably be good for the show then.
Yeah, like find one there. What is their house again? On oh man, I can't remember. Ride Out. There we go.
On Ride Out Street.
Yeah.
Right on.
Like I've met like nice guys in there, but
I'm sure.
I just like I know like some things that like go on, and I'm like I don't judge anyone for like having like a large amount of people who like you've slept with, but I do judge you if you like paraded around like having like, oh, like I have 100 kills, like I pull.
Is that what they say? I pull 100
I
kills?
I just had a conversation because like people don't know what pull means apparently. Like it's like you pull bitches like towards you, like so they want to hook up with you.
Really?
I guess it's like a Brit term. Like I don't like my mom is British.
Yeah.
And like I watch like British television.
Well, you said telly earlier, so
yeah, that's like
yeah, that was awesome. So okay, that's interesting because I've never really indulged in the frat sorority lifestyle, but I feel like there's a lot of great stories, and hopefully they're all positive. I mean, if they're bragging about like stuff that isn't consensual, then I have a fucking massive problem.
And there's been problems with that at Western. Like there have been like rape cases, like even within my own sorority, and like what really bothers me to my core is when things aren't dealt with the way that they're supposed to. Like there should never be any covering up. Like I would far more respect someone who like recognized what they did was wrong and like try to make amends, even if you can't. Like sometimes you really just can't.
Yeah.
But like trying to like brush it under the rug, like trying to like no, like I think that's awful. And that doesn't happen a lot here at Western, but that's also because of the nature of our Greek life is not as big as it could be.
Right.
But I'm sure in the States, like places like that, like it's amplified far more because when you have a culture that does party, like we do great things, like philanthropy is amazing. Greek, like there are great things done there, people doing great things, but there's always going to be underlying issues, like where there's a lack of knowledge and where there's a lack of consent.
Sure, and that line when it gets blurred with alcohol and drug use or whatever. I mean, obviously, I know that you can't give consent when you're in an inebriated state. It's like a contract. Most people feel like, oh, well, if I'm drunk too, then it's okay. That's not really going to fly. It's going to happen regardless. I know that most people are hooking up because of alcohol, so it's not like, when you go to the bar, it happens. But to give proper consent, you really need to be sober. You really need to be in a state of mind where you can continually withdraw that consent. That's what a lot of people don't understand, is if you give consent at one point in time, you can take that away, and you need to be able to take that away at any point in time too, meaning if you pass out, you can no longer give consent. You don't have consent anymore.
Yeah, right?
Right.
That's something so important, and I don't know, it's just being able to talk about it, that like people really not be afraid, like be like, yeah, like I was like really drunk, so like maybe I did something wrong, like let me have that conversation with that person and make sure that we're on the same page. Like one thing that I actually really, really respect about my sorority is that we don't do jungle juice anymore. Like that's like where like you pay a certain money, like you pay a certain amount of money, the frats like buy a bunch of liquor, like put it all together, like and then like that's what you have for like that party, that mixer.
Right.
And we only do BYOB because then we can keep track of the amount of alcohol that girls are drinking. Like even when we have pre's together, like you're encouraged to all pre together, so then the sober sisters can monitor how much people are drinking.
Good for you.
And like you're not allowed to go upstairs, like ever.
So you set these rules to avoid putting yourself in situations that can get you into trouble at these parties. That's what we need. We need more proactive stuff like that happening for sure.
And like we're really pushing for frats to start doing sober brothers, because they don't do that. Like if you're at a frat party and if you're one of the brothers and you're sober, it's like by coincidence. It's not intentional. Like we have to have sober sisters. Like it's just like something that we think is important, and like I think that frats should have that too, because like why not have accountability like with your own boys? Like DU is a frat who really does the most with that, which I really enjoy. Like if they host an open party, people aren't allowed to make out against walls. Why? Because you can't tell what's consensual in that sense. Like people can't like hook up in the house unless they know that this person is not too drunk. Like obviously there's blurred lines there, but at least they're really, really trying to
I like that.
Never have a situation where like something will happen. And like there's been a situation where like a brother has been like too abrasive, they kicked him out. Like,
good. I like that. I think that's something that I'm hearing for the first time, and that's something that I think is a great idea. I think that this sober brother thing needs to be implemented, not just here but everywhere.
Yeah.
Like there should be consistent rules for fraternities and for sororities to keep each other safe. I don't know why it became like it's never fucking cool if someone's taking advantage of someone and they're not okay with it. That's not a fucking okay thing to do. And so I don't understand